Yo, welcome back to another episode of the Appreciation Podcast. I'm Zach.
I'm Lew.
It's episode 3.
Yes, the boys are appreciating art today.
We're museum boys. Yeah.
Oh man.
There we go. Hey, it was pretty calm. It was pretty chill. We were both kind of pulling for Tubi movies last, but we got abstract art, so
It was a challenge.
Yeah, it
the
was a
museum
challenge.
was really nice.
it was.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It's like we were on a little date. It was fun.
Yeah, the
We
boys
got food, just walking around,
Yeah,
arms
some
behind our back,
tacos.
just
Yes.
indubitably.
Indubitably. I love I would point something out and you're like, Zach, that's not abstract. That's that's just a straight
I
up
was
painting.
like, that is just a picture of an English woman.
Yeah, I'm like, oh yeah. But with that, we got the vlog coming out soon, the very first vlog, which was pretty fun to shoot. We got
I know my boy really ate with it.
I appreciate that, especially making the new music for the intro, the outro, and the animation was really fun this time around. I was able to do it a lot faster than I had previously.
Yeah.
It was just cooking up and okay, this works, that works, this doesn't work. The animation took I did that during class and before class, one for each little
Okay.
portion, and then but the beats took me forever. I think because I was just a little drained from midterms and then having editing and then listen to all these other things.
I
I'm
mean,
dude,
there's
this is
so
tough.
much going on in life.
Oh yeah, dude.
To still be able to churn that out like that quick too.
Yeah, appreciate it. But I think that's a solid thing that we have for ourselves, as well as the fact of we're gonna make it happen. We're not gonna try and outsource too much. If we want to do something, we got to either learn it and do it, or we're just gonna approach it head on.
Especially as we continue, it's kind of better to know how to do it,
Yeah.
so then we can know how we want it.
For sure.
That's the sort of thing. Also, it's just more effort, and it's I can always put in some more effort. I can
Yeah.
always try a little bit harder.
Oh yeah.
So it's just keep putting in the work, just keep going.
Exactly, dude. I feel that. I think that it's something that's a strength behind the podcast as well, because when we kick things up to different levels, or we bring on a producer role, or we're in talks with sponsorships, it's dude, we already have so much that we do for ourselves that it's there's not too much that you can really try and sell us on, or mess around with us manager wise. Dude, we already we're running the business from
Yeah.
that analytically, research wise, creatively. It would be nice eventually to have people that can help this help certain processes, so we're able to go even further into the
just
topics
make
and stuff.
more stuff.
Oh yeah.
I feel the more we make, the bigger the community one's gonna grow. I feel that's the most rewarding part, where it's we're making this,
Mm-hmm.
we're making people think a little bit differently about things,
Oh yeah.
and we're able to share with a lot of people.
I agree, especially with the next few things we're trying to get into, or eventual goals of hey, we want to do movies, or comics,
Nice.
manga, clothing, all the whole spectrum, that it's we got to approach things step by step and continue on from there.
Just two guys making shit.
Dude, yeah.
That's just all we want to do, is make cool stuff.
That's the new bio.
Exactly. We're just two dudes making shit.
I needed to get mine.
Gotta stay hydrated.
Yeah, dude, got to. Long night of drinking. I need to bounce back, but
You get you a Gatorade, get some electrolytes.
yeah. Yeah. I was eating some chips at 4 a.m. I'm this is going to be terrible, but yeah, it is what it is. Well, enough of this yip yap for a second. Cue the intro.
Oh,
Yeah. Dude, I don't know, man. I'm excited to see where everything goes from here.
I feel the future's very bright with this. It's just, I don't know, just the joy I get from making this.
Dude, me too.
Just making this with you, again, I feel I reiterate a lot, but I'm working with one of my favorite people.
Bro, likewise. It's so
Gives
easy.
me so much joy.
Yeah. Well, and now we got our episode going on, but also real quick to what we were saying in between the music, I think like it's starting to just like seep into like all of our interactions that it's like I don't I think like when you work with people in like any type of spectrum, like it's like how do we go relationally from like okay we're going to be talking about work to then like oh hey now we're doing this, but it's like the way that we talk on the pod is the way that we've talked at work, is the way that we talk on phone calls, it's the way that we talk on Instagram. Like nothing really ever changes. Like
it's kind of just the way we are always.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. It's also, I think it's nice that our sort of relationship started out with us working together.
Oh,
so then, especially in such a casual place at Urban, just being like able to chill and then work together and be like, oh, we're dogs.
Yeah, we're dogs.
And now it's just like, oh, we chill and we're just getting it done.
Oh yeah, I 110% agree. Well, this episode's gonna be very. It's only the third episode, but it's gonna be like I think a little bit more different than like we, would have even thought our episodes would be from like when we were talking about starting, because it's like we have this concept that's really subjective. We can really.
And broad.
It's super broad, so it's like we could spend a very long time talking about it, but I think like we'll just talk about it, then talk about the vlog, then just talk about whatever else is going on in life, like, or just
I think it's also like just there's so much to it. Like that's when I was going through like my research, I realized that there's so much to it that we kind of almost named it the wrong thing, and I feel like this also like the topic the wrong thing.
Yeah.
To a degree, because I'm like, oh, this is so broad. It's like, are we only talking about this one kind, or like this? But I don't know. I feel like, at least for me, going into abstract art gives me an appreciation for other arts too. Because I'm not really as much of an artist,
Yeah.
I'm not. That's not really my world. So it's kind of hard, I think, when you're not a part of that, to understand how they think. And so it was just very nice thought exercises and stuff of like, oh, all right, well, seeing the wheels turn and there's different stuff going on here. It was really refreshing.
Yeah.
Really eye-opening.
No, I agree. I think like what was really cool about starting the abstract art for me is that like I come from a family of like commercial artists and like the early form of graphic design, right? And my grandfather, like that was like all that he did his entire life was like, after getting out of the Marines, like he was just doing art and photography, which I feel like I'm like a protege or like a legacy carrier for him. But he,
for sure,
dude, yeah, he used to work and he had like a hand in like some Coca-Cola designs and like different like beverages and companies like up north in like Michigan, Ohio, and he always would tell me that when he was a commercial artist, like it was very different for him because it's like it's something that he loves, but he didn't love the process of like having to make it really commercialized and have to like follow a structure or be so subjective to the client's needs at all the time, or like there's simple like nitpicky things. So when we came to abstract art, it made me reflect on him because like in the later years of his life, like all he would do was just like paint some random stuff. Like he would just be like, hey Zach, here's a picture or here's a painting of you on the beach when you're 5, or hey Zach, here's a turtle painting I did, or here's some trees, and it looks amazing. So you see like the fun that he had, and then you see abstract art where people can look at it. We've made jokes about it, like where it's just like I'm just throwing colors here, but I think there's a certain level of like fun and a little bit of ambiguity behind art in general, especially abstract art, that makes you feel happy and appreciative because it's like, man, they are really just doing what they want to do. It's expression at like the furthest kind of like end that it can be. You talk about like objectivity within art, like it's like, hey, if I'm making music, and I call it music and I'm calling it a song, but I don't say anything but how well is that gonna go? I mean, but
no, I feel like, I don't know, it's also kind of cool to see because like going into like the historical side of it and realizing that like what sort of ended the abstract expressionism like sort of thing was the commercial and like pop art stuff.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool because it's like you kind of saw your grandfather, who probably is who's extremely creative, but also probably has a really logical brain, of seeing him sort of peel back the layers in his later years of like, I don't have to do the job.
Mm-hmm.
This is just me painting for expression. But it's still just like, hey, I just drew this, and it's like still a scene that you can look at. It's like, oh man, you're just seeing like the layers. So for me, it's like understanding that there's sort of possibly a need for that abstraction.
Yeah.
Of like, you just kind of need to let people be free in that way.
I agree. I think like something that it's really interesting to take like all in one step and like one stride that we did with the museum. It's like abstract art, I feel like at its core, I'm not sure if it's super gallery and museum focused. Like when those are like your means of exposition to that, and like you see it, you learn about it when you're there, when you're in this setting, it kind of sets like a different stage because everything is very clean cut. But you know, when we did like research and like I was looking at, you know, painters from like 200, 300 years ago or something like that doing, you know, abstract art and stuff like that, it felt very different to me being able to like look at it on my phone, being in whatever environment I wanted to be in, to be like, okay, well, this is how I'm processing this work of art right now, compared to like when you're in a little bit more formal of a setting, or like a surrounding that it's like, hey, you know, this is exactly what is going on right here. We have it laid out the way that it is. But I think that abstract, like, really, or at least for me, like, abstract as an idea is super, I would say, boundary breaking, like within art.
I would say so. Like I think what you were kind of also touching on, or at least it hit my brain, is like, I love art history. I think it's really interesting, but I think also in the context sometimes you don't have the full departure that I feel like you should have when you get to abstract art. When, like, especially the art museum. I love the art museum.
Mm-hmm.
It's not arguably, it just is the best museum in Raleigh.
Yes.
Because they haven't finished renovating the history museum, and it was wildly outdated.
Yeah.
I mean, the Natural History Museum is cool, but like, you know, it's been the same. But like, you're sort of walking, and then you see like it's not bronze, but it's that dark material of like all those statues, and it's like, okay, so we're looking at something very historical, and then you just turn the corner, and then you're like, I am looking at an orb.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait, huh?
I think the plane of mirrors that we saw were crazy.
Yeah, it's like, this is just a very weird departure. But I think if we had the space, like being outside that space and then just looking at abstract art in itself and sort of the evolution of it, I got so much more of an appreciation for it, because I'm like, oh, this is it on its own. And then again, I feel like the easiest thing to write it off as for like people is like, well, nobody knows what they're doing. They're just throwing paint on a thing.
Yeah. Because
it's like Jackson Pollock, which like I even look at Jackson Pollock stuff now, and I'm like, no, there's some, he's actually good at this.
Yeah.
Like, you can't, it's almost weird. It's like, you can't just like throw some shit up and then expect it to be good. It's like you actually have to make it good.
Yeah. I agree.
So it's just like, I think it's just really easy to be like, oh, they're doing whatever. But like, when you look at it and you see all the variation of like something it's weird because it's so free and broad, yet at the same time it's in a genre, and it can lend itself to feeling like everything else.
Yeah.
Especially how like abstract expressionism came around. Would you like for me to go into some of the history?
Yes, please. Yeah.
All right. So only got to do a little bit. So that was the thing I was touching on before, where it's like, there's abstract art, and then there's abstract expressionism. And I think abstract expressionism is what everyone kind of means when they think of abstract art.
Which is like crazy stuff.
Yeah, which gave me even more appreciation for Americans, we need to appreciate abstract art more. Do you know why? Because it's the first American art form.
Really?
It is the first thing that they were like, this is American.
That kind of makes sense, though.
Because before, I was reading papers where basically professors would be like European professors would be talking shit like America has no art because they're just copying what they knew from Europe. Oh. And the center of the art world was in Paris.
Yeah.
But then post-war happens, which art history just shows, and just history in general shows so much change after World War II. So much change. And then the center of the art world's in New York.
Oh.
And so that's where and so they might not all be American, but it was happening in America. So it's America's first art movement.
Oh.
Is abstract art. So that's where you have like Jackson Pollock and Robert Motherwell, Clifford Still, Ad Reinhardt. And it's even crazier because you had the American government pushing it too. They would help fund it as a sort of like propaganda for the rest of the world, because it's post World War II, the beginning of the Cold War, so you're trying to push like the American message that everyone knows too well nowadays. Yeah, like it worked a bit too well. And they were pushing it as like, hey, this is our art, we're making cool stuff here. You look over in the USSR, gray buildings, gray buildings, starvation, that's what they got over there. Here, abstract art.
Abstract art.
We got guys throwing paint on things. Yeah. Think about that.
You got beautiful women and people throwing paint at the wall, man. Come to America. Yeah.
But it was cool because it was this whole entire, like, you think of it as this super free and just, like, widespread thing. But it's interesting to look that there's kind of a system to it.
Really?
Because you have all those guys. Yeah. But then you had two really big, and then like you had all those guys, and then even more artists like Lee Krasner and like Ellen de Kooning, like so many of these like famous artists. And then you have critics, which kind of gives me a thing like nowadays where you have guys like Needle Drop for like rap music and stuff, like just music in general, to help people understand the art. Oh. Which would make it even more widespread, because now you're able to understand by looking at it. Yeah.
Like, oh, blue represents sadness.
Yeah. And then you had the money. So then you had the U.S. government, but then you had, this is where the big thing in the art world comes up, Peggy Guggenheim.
Peggy Guggenheim?
So the Guggenheim museums, they're all around the world. Oh. That was their family. The first one was in New York. The first one was abstract art. Oh. Because she was a fan of it and she really appreciated it. And her family just has been investing in art for like their entire existence. That's probably not like fully true, but like that's from what I read, because I'm like, there's way too many members of this family line to be like, where did their money come from? I'm tired of looking.
Dude. They got like organized crime or something. Yeah. That'd be crazy.
I mean, hey, if you wanna move money, use art.
Yeah, there you go. Like every heist movie is always centered around some art where it's like, we gotta sell this Rembrandt photo. It's like,
dude, heists are crazy.
Heists are crazy, and my thing is always just like, how are you gonna get that? Like, people are gonna know. Like, what do you think?
Yeah, that's like the worst part too. It's like, if you steal something like super famous, and that's like, you can't sell it anywhere. Yeah. Because it's like, if it shows up in somebody's collection, they're gonna be like, how'd you get that?
Yeah. He's going to put it like a private study and admire it. No, people that buy those kinds of things are
I want to show it off.
Exactly, yeah. Especially talking about if it's an American art form, like that's just coded within it. Yeah. No, that's great history. I really appreciate that, because I feel that like our methods of like research for this one, like, well, I think everything else, like we have like our own individual and it like melds well, but I think like this really, really highlights the strength and like of like your individual research and that kind of thing. Because I think like with my research, like I think I approached it as like I approached like viewing my like what my grandfather would do, or like what I like, or like my like understanding. Like I would learned about like different painters and contributions, but I think the history behind it makes it like so much more interesting as well. And me learning that as well with everyone else kind of learning that, I think that it's cool.
I think that is a little sidebars. Like I think that kind of also shows like our identities in a way.
Yeah.
Where it's like you have. I mean, I love my family, but like my family's very like large and spread out, so I don't know all the family members of my family.
Okay.
The history, or just the history of things, makes me appreciate things more.
I love that.
Also, my dad's a historian, so that's probably why. But I think like for you, it's a lot more personal. Yeah. Where it's like I have these personal experiences with art, and then that's how you're able to connect to things, and that's like I just love our different viewpoints.
I do too, dude. I think that's sick. That yeah, man. There's some psychology within that makes me think about it. Some sociology within that. I'm like, oh yeah, it's where our norms come from. Yeah. I definitely think so. I think like, you know, you would be jaded, or not really necessarily jaded, but you would have like a different position based off of, you know, where you're from, the different surroundings, like the inspirations, like, you know, like I got, like you were saying, like I got that completely from my grandfather. Like there's been other members of my family that have attempted art that have not been as proficient, I would say.
Yeah.
You know, sorry y'all, but
hey, you were trying.
Yeah, just dissing them right now, but I think that's just kind of blows my mind right now. I'm like, yeah, I think that just got analyzed right now and it's cutting me deep.
I mean, if you want to take some time to digest some stuff, so this is the way I went through my notes. I didn't like really share them this time because I just loved how this giant thing was like. Yeah. Just to show my notes, this is my notes. I can't scroll. It's very long of me just typing stuff in the notepad because I'll be at work again. I don't have Wi-Fi when I'm there, and so I'll just be like looking at something. I'll just be like typing it in this, just like, which for some reason has been super just cathartic for me.
Yeah,
I'm like, wow, I think I might be meant to write papers.
Dude, yeah, I'm gonna need your help.
I'm like, oh man, I'm my dad. I'm meant to write papers and give speeches. Oh.
I'm like my dad in the way of like,
but he's cool, so I'm like, all right, I can at least make it cool like him.
Yeah, no, that's the strength of like a little sidebar too of like becoming older as a man. It's like the fact of like you realize a lot of different things about like, you know, male role models for us as our dads.
Yeah.
That it's like the similarities, and I feel like when you're like from the age of like 18 to like I'd say about 22, there's like a period of like rejection from that.
Yeah, you're like, I'm not like him. I'm my own guy.
Yeah.
I'm me. And then you just start to, and you're like, wait, I'm a lot of things.
Oh yeah.
But like, I appreciate it. And then you get to the point where you're like, oh, I'm like him.
Yeah.
I'm like my dad. Oh.
Yeah. Like.
But at the same time, you look at it like, oh, I'm also like my mom. It's like, oh, then that's when you see like your parents are like, oh.
You're like, oh, nature and nurture. Yeah.
My psychology.
Yeah.
My makeup.
my DNA.
My genetic code.
Yeah. It's being written before my eyes. Yeah. Dude, I get that. I was thinking about that too. Like my dad, he used to be a commercial artist underneath my grandfather for a little while, like when they were up in Michigan, and he worked with him like for different summers. And like I've seen like my dad's drawing, like he did a lot of like different designs and drawings of like when I was little. Like he made him and my mom's shirts of being like, oh, Zach's on the way, and like I had like a whole bunny draw. Like he draws really well. Like you know, another member of my family that just has like a crazy ability. Like my sister is just like that too. Like where it's just there's not so much of like a rhyme or reason or like this whole formal kind of thing, but they're really well with it. You know, my dad also like came up with a like when he started his company, he did like a lot of like the graphics for it as well, and like he's doing like clear technology, so he like installed like home theaters, which he doesn't do that anymore. He like as a salesman, which starting the business, a little bit of art. I'm starting to see that as well when you're talking about, you know, your dad and your research. And that was actually a really, really productive like rabbit hole that we both just went on,
Oh, yeah.
like personally. But yeah, I think it goes with abstract art as well, because like everything compared to, you know, previous topics and episodes, like we really got like history to talk about it. We got our vlogs to talk about it. We got some artists we can say, but really at the end of the day, just like everything is very subjective. Like,
Yeah.
I appreciate what I was looking at. I appreciate learning more about it. I appreciated the vlog and
man.
everything like that. But
I love the vlog.
dude, the vlog was so much fun. I can't wait. I think I should put a clip in towards the end of this.
Oh, for sure put a clip in, dude.
Which one should I do?
The one we're walking by, you're like, I feel that. I can feel the trauma.
Yeah,
Feel the trauma from the.
Yeah, you're like walking by, and you're like, this is abstract. I'm like, yeah, this is abstract. I'm getting very childhood trauma from this. Yeah, dude.
Oh.
Yeah, that was like the whole thing with like abstract art too. That I feel like you look for it, but you're also kind of afraid of it. Of like, what's this gonna make me feel?
Yeah. So you know what? That leads into another thing. Would you like for me? I'm like for my notes. I sort of structured them in questions. So I actually have some questions for you at the end.
Ooh.
I've structured everything in questions. So like I had who, what, when, and there's like what questions I had about things and trying to sort of get through it. That might be my new approach to research now.
Yes.
I kind of enjoy it. But,
it's the inverse of the isekai episode.
yeah.
I'm
so like
pumped.
looking at it, it was like, okay, what is abstract art? And so I was like looking up the definition. It's more of so it's aesthetic over logic, and it's also the exclusion of like anything that looks like a natural form.
Oh.
So it's just that's the main thing, because especially up to that, and this is less of the abstract expressionism, more of like where abstract art started from, of like Dada and like Fauvism, like all these different art concepts, and like moving through Europe, where it's just like no. Everything before was just like, hey, I'm the church. I need a picture of Paul. That's what I want. Paint it, make it look really nice, and that was just art for a while. It was just like, because they were the people with money. It's like, all right, this is it. And it's like, well, it's a thing. It looks great. Looks beautiful.
Yeah.
But it's a thing, and it's like, let's paint things that aren't things.
I get it.
Let's just paint whatever we're feeling. Let's just go for it. And that's great. And then specifically the thing that I like with like abstract expressionism is the sort of key parts of it are, so there's no formal concept of composition, so it's keeping that over, where it's like nothing about this seems normal. It's just pure feeling. And then also my favorite one, it's large in scale. I was looking at so many different paintings, and then just looking at how large they are. It's like, if I could have this in a house,
That would be sick.
I wouldn't need a TV anymore.
Especially that green bit that you were like,
Oh,
I like this green bit.
I would just be sitting there, just staring out. Be like an hour and a half, and they'd be like, he hasn't moved. And I was like, what are you looking at? It's like, just look at the deepness of this blue right here.
This blue right here is just so beautiful.
Exhilarating.
It's vivacious.
Aye. It's provocative.
It's
It gets the people going.
No, that would be funny too. People are like, what are you getting from this? You just start quoting lyrics. You're like, ball so hard. Motherfuckers want to find me. Yeah.
You don't even know.
You don't even know.
It just turns into us playing the entire of Watch the Throne.
Yeah, dude. Oh, later in the episode, like when we get off into like talking about like recent life, I gotta tell you about the Mac experience downtown.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. I definitely want to hear more about
Dude,
that.
yeah.
I mean, the beanie and the ginger beard, I feel like it's fitting in.
Yeah, dude.
Mac's a chill guy.
Yes.
So you kind of gotta love it.
Yeah, I do.
Like,
I
it's
love
a great compliment.
It is, but it's just we're gonna get into it. There was just like some points of like different conversation, like when I started like like, addressing people about it, that it's just funny that I'm like, we gotta talk about this.
Yeah.
But yeah, what else we?
Oh man, I mean, I got so much, but like,
I know.
I mean, shoot, what questions do you have, man? I might have the answers right here. I put down a lot, like,
Yeah.
oh, well, like abstract expression. What kind of inspired this movement? And I was watching one specific video. I forget the channel, and I don't know if they quoted it from somewhere. If I'm gonna quote it from them, it's inspired, especially the abstract expressions, the American stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It was inspired by the vulnerability and irrationality of that war exposed, which just kind of brings me to a big thought that I'll have at the end. So like everything's so interconnected that's like, oh wow, the war literally affected the art.
Really?
Yeah, because they're like that's why they're like diving into deep things. It's like World War II just happened. It's like the bloodiest thing to ever happen on the planet.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, well, let's kind of start thinking about it. And then it was also inspired by some Marxist social, communist ideas. And then, it's like coming off the back, but like the inspirations that it has of like, so you got like Marxism. You got Native American art. You got like Chinese and Japanese calligraphy. You got all this stuff. You got Dada, everything that came before it. It's this crazy mix and mashup of like whatever to turn it into just like non-discernible concepts.
Yeah.
It's probably just the best way to describe it.
That'd be crazy to think about the Genghis Khan. Real quick, try and with the mic, just so it doesn't hit the hoodie.
Oh,
maybe.
yeah. Let me fix my...
Oh, good. I just thought about that. I don't think there'd be any popping, but...
I'm sorry if it is. Audience, we good?
Yeah.
A little bit better? No better?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. We're back to
my audio levels look a little better too, so all right. A little bit too high? Am I good? Ooh. Hey. Hey? All right. I think we're here.
Yeah, I think we're good.
I
think we're good.
We're back.
We're back in.
What other questions you got, man? I went for it.
Dude, okay. It's hard to like think of questions on the spot. Like I think that because you popped off with this research. I want to hear like some like general like takes or just like what. Okay, yeah, no, I got you. What are like the top 3 or like your favorite thing that you learn within like your caliber of the research?
Oh, I have a lot of favorite things that came from this. Yeah. I have a lot.
You were not lying at all.
No, I really went in. This was, again, a great just thought exercise for me.
Yeah, you dove in the water.
I mean, I have some favorite pieces. I'll figure out, maybe I'll just take like all of them and just make an Instagram, but we'll get our favorite pieces and we'll just make a couple of Instagram posts.
Okay.
Of what our favorite pieces were and be like, hey,
yeah,
here's when we drop the episode. So it'll be like, good synergy. Go to the Instagram page.
I'm gonna do a sticker of your face and of my face, and I'll be like, Lew's favorite, yeah.
Lew's top 5
art
pieces.
That's gonna be great.
But it's just sort of seeing like so much that like is coming out of this, and like, because just all these different like art movements, and seeing how. I'm trying to think of the right way to word this. I think seeing the interesting shift and seeing the interconnectedness of art across all forms, like music, fashion, everything else, it's all connected in like a weird way. Like they're all some kind of big family that you don't really think about like nowadays, but like they are.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, because like what they call the New York School.
Mm-hmm.
There's no school. They just call it the New York School of like all these artists.
Oh wow!
And it's like, so the art world shifted from Paris to New York, and then it's got me thinking of like, well, did that also happen with like fashion? Did that also happen with music? And it's like there's probably a bit of where it's like, yeah, probably all happened where it's like, oh, this is where it's happening now. We're all gonna go there.
Yeah,
because like
that makes sense.
I mean, like looking at high fashion, you got like Paris Fashion Week, and then you got like
London,
New York Fashion Week, And like New York Fashion Week isn't really as big like now, but still really huge. And it's like, oh, so this is kind of where like New York got put on the map, than America and everything else. I don't know. Post-war, World War II did a number on a lot of things, but like,
yeah,
World War II really helped out America, man.
Dude, yeah, now you think about it like that, for sure.
I'll always say this from a historical perspective: if you want to understand the American ego, just look at World War II.
Oh yeah.
Just look at World War II, and then you'll be like, oh, this is why they are the way they are. 2 oceans, no enemies on our continent. How you gonna stop us?
Dude, yeah.
Industrial might. It's like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? And then we show up, and it's like, well, yeah, we won. It's like, you weren't in it from the beginning. Yeah, but we won, though.
Yeah,
We
you
won.
know, you even take that to, like, today's things, and I'm like, I don't want to get involved, bro. Like, I don't want us to, but,
At this point, we kind of set ourselves up where it's like, we just get involved in anything anyways. It's like, let's stop, please.
yeah.
But
I look
no
at
political takes. That's for another episode.
Oh, yeah.
I put the political compass on the list.
Yeah, it's funny because, like, I feel that, like, if we were to approach that, because I'm staunchly not into yeah, I just have...
Oh, I will walk you through it with me, brother. I love politics.
I always, like, yeah.
I love politics. It is... Here's the thing. It's infuriating, but it's a ton of fun.
It's like I know politics, but, like, I think, like, my personality, like, when we talk about in sociology, like, you know, there's just people who will, like, not want to, like, really get involved with, like, society in a different way.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been like that. I'm starting to get out from that headspace, but...
No, I think it's also because we're in, like, the sort of... It's not necessarily the worst political time in history, because there's definitely worse.
Yeah.
But it ain't great.
No, I agree.
And social media doesn't help.
Yeah.
Because everyone just gets to talk too much. It's like, alright, we just need to slow down a little bit.
I feel you.
It's funny me saying everyone talks too much and we have a podcast. But, like, we get to talk.
Yeah, we get to talk.
We have good opinions.
We have good, valid opinions. We try to find the good in a lot of things that either we don't know, don't like, or people just might not have a good general idea.
Exactly. We're only here to appreciate, and we have absolutely great opinions always.
Absolutely great opinions.
Only great opinions here.
Yeah, you get to see, like, Christians from a different perspective.
Exactly. Like, again, we talked about this before, and like a little bit in our intro video on the YouTube page.
Mm-hmm.
Of, I think one of the things that Christianity in the West is probably not best at is sort of that concept of loving your neighbor as yourself.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
I think that comes with a line of, like, you know, whether if you think they're living their life the right way and not, and like doing all that, where it's like, yeah, if somebody's doing something that you see as like see your friend taking, like, doing coke, you'll be like, don't do that because it's bad for you, you know, out of love.
Yeah.
But I think nowadays everything has gotten to, like, a too personal point where it's like, instead of even trying to, like, help or correct a person in a sort of way, it's just like, you're wrong, bad, fix it. And it's like, you gotta, like, build a relationship of loving them first to really be able to talk to them. And I want to try to love people more by appreciating what they do and what they can contribute to the world.
Yes.
Like, you know, you get a little bit depressed sometimes, but then you realize, like, wow, the world is a fascinating, beautiful place.
Exactly.
It is crazy. There's so much going on.
We're here for a period of time now, but dude, no, this is a great experience. This is a great episode already, man.
We're getting very meta this episode.
We are very meta. I'm like, man, like, I thought, like, our second episode, like, our dynamic was already greatly improved. This one is like,
we're having fun. Isekai episode.
Yeah.
This one, we're getting deep.
Dude, we're becoming Dr. Manhattan right now.
The title of the episode, I want it to be "The Boys Have a Thoughtful Conversation About Art."
In parentheses, and life.
Yeah. Thoughtful conversation about art and life. The boys reminisce on art.
Make us sound like we're, like, in a senior. What if we're a senior home one day, just I appreciate life and the fact that.
And I remember back in 2024.
I remember back in 2023 when a manager said some cross things to me.
Oh boy.
The lore.
Oh boy.
The appreciation podcast lore is convoluted.
Oh, it was born out of something. I'm glad we kept this going because that could have destroyed it.
Oh yeah.
Oh man,
I was so focused on making sure like everything would be fine, dude. Let's get into these questions so we can talk about the vlog and get deeper into these conversations.
All right. So I have some questions for you. Okay, so with your initial dive into this, how did you, especially, I'll say that you are an artist.
I appreciate that.
In different forms, but as an artist, how did you perceive abstract art?
I perceived abstract art. I kind of look at abstract art as, this is a really weird way to phrase this, but like very like outlier-ish way. But when you think about that, that should, in my opinion, that's what art is and should be. Not so much as an A to B to C to D. Like if you want that, go on Fiverr, hire an artist, commission photographers. But as an artist doing their own individual takes on things, being a creative is literally exactly that, being creative. And I think that abstract at the roots of it, and when it's done with full intentionality, is completely that. There's a lot of like reiterations, or I'm sure there's a bunch of people out there that are like where there's like the banana taped to like a white canvas or a wall, and it's like this goes for a crazy amount of money, but I think that abstract is a really, really good thing, and I also think that it's very indicative of what it means to be creative in any aspect, not even just an artist, but like with solutions, how you go about researching things, that's abstract and very creative. We're not at a library spinning a Rolodex trying to find like some articles or something like that, or like doing a different way. Like we each approach different things in life with a certain like spectrum of creativity of, okay, how am I going to get through this? How am I going to learn? Like I'm someone who, like when I have to read like an article or something, I absolutely hate reading.
Yeah.
Because like attention, my eyesight, and then I always need to have it either auditory or I need to have something going on in the background just for like my mind to like be on a certain page to like get that.
Like almost if it's like too quiet sometimes, like I need something else to help me choose to focus on the one thing.
Yeah.
It's like I need just a little bit of noise.
Yeah, escape the voices in my head. Yeah.
I hear voices in my head. They counsel me. They hit an RKO.
Yes, sir. Just on my dog or my cat.
Man. Just legend killer out here. But nah. So, because that was one question I was like, at some point I want to kind of see with artists. And maybe another question for you. Why do you think people not necessarily hate, but dislike abstract art so much?
I think, like as I was saying, like I think like because there's certain pockets like where it's I wouldn't even say gimmicky, but I feel like there's no rhyme or reason, and I feel that with a very like advanced technological like mediated communication that we live in now, like where people are just like influx of information, influx of opinions, it is really hard for for people in general to have original opinions and original thoughts. And I think like group consensus, as much as people want to disagree, usually kind of reigns supreme like within society. And I think that people will look at abstract art and maybe not understand it, or maybe see like, as we made the joke, like someone throws paint bucket, swish swash, and be like, this is just too easy. And then they'll look at, a painting of like the sunrise or something, and they're like, this is art. It's like, no, both these things are art. Your measure of art is what's different, but you still have to appreciate the fact or recognize this is art. It's very subjective, and just like with anything in general, man, no matter like what good you try and do in the world or like what you create, there's always going to be someone who does something for their own reasons. You know, we can think something is great, you know, and then turns out that it's not accepted, but at the end of the day, you know, people are just gonna be people. And I'm not really entirely sure why people don't like abstract art, but I think that it's just the point of like they don't get it, so the easiest thing to do is reject and hate it, which is like that's like a whole big thing with society in general. Yeah. Is why like we're not very accepting as like people.
Yeah, I think for sure. Like through looking at research, I came up with a couple of answers.
Ooh.
At least from what I see.
Yeah, feed it.
And I see this like as a sort of parallel to other things in art. So one, I think in some sense there are certain parts of it that are meant to be hated on purpose.
Really?
Because I think the original intention for so much of it, especially when you have something where, because even with a lot of these stuff, like during the Expressionism, there's no title to these pieces. They even name them.
Really?
Yeah. Just be like, it is. Put up, that's what it is. And then you're just meant to look at it, think about it, and then it's like, all they want is a strong emotion. That's what they're going for, is like, I want to make you feel something. Now, there's a lot of them that, not that I necessarily went within my research to look at them, where you're probably supposed to meant to feel a specific thing. But I feel like it's this slowly opening of like, you know, Pandora's box. You're like letting freedom out just a little bit more and more. And that's the sort of thing that I see why it's hate, is like, you're letting this idea of being free out, which means there's the good aspects of freedom and then there's the bad aspects of freedom. And you have to deal with all of it.
Yeah.
You have to deal with both sides of it. And I think that's where we sort of get to like the new modern art thing, where it's like, oh, a guy is going to hang from a trapeze with a bucket of pink paint and throw it at a canvas on the ground.
Yeah.
And be like, this is art. And you're looking at it and you're like, I don't get it. And I think it's the same way in like slight overlap I see with like hip hop. It's an art form that's like kind of so free and expressive.
Yeah.
That almost anyone thinks that they can do it. You know?
Yeah.
It's a sort of thing where it's like, if you want to be good at it, you need to have talent. But if you want to try it, you don't need to have talent.
Yeah, that's a
and so
great
then you
point.
have a lot of people getting into the world where it's like, oh, they might not have talent for it, but they figured out how to make money off of it.
Mm-hmm.
Which, again, I think another interesting figure, this is more in pop art and like going through, I think the introduction of Andy Warhol and how his idea was, oh, I drew a Campbell's can 4 times and I painted it. Yeah, because I like money.
Yeah.
I want this to sell. I want to make a lot of money. Where he was like, I don't care about the artistic value of this. I just want to make money.
That's a commercial art.
Yeah, and you're like, oh. I think it's a mixture of all that. So it's like seeing, again, through history, just seeing the slow movement of like, oh, I see how we get to modern art now.
Yeah.
I feel like people just look at it from like, you see Renaissance painting, it's like, man, look at what they did. It's so beautiful and so ornate. And then you just get there and you're like, this is, like you said, it's like, this is a moldy banana taped to a wall.
Yeah.
What am I looking at?
Yeah.
And so I think that's a part of it, where it's like, oh, you just see this, you start to see just the history and time move where you're like, oh, we're getting more free. Oh, we're getting more free, and now you're seeing that there's good parts to this and bad parts to this. And at this point, you can't really close it. You can't close the box.
Yeah.
You gotta deal with it.
It's like, it reminds me of like the art trend that was about, or just like how different like abstract like ideas of art kind of pass. Like, I don't know why this just came to my mind, but I think it's a good it's just funny, like, when we talk about, like, just how art progresses, how abstract art progresses, like, there was that trend, and I'm sure, like, it still happens, but it's, like, a big, like, you know, it's, like, a relationship thing, like, where it'll be, like, oh, babe, I painted my ass on, like, the canvas for you, or, like, they, like, sit and paint, and then, like, put it, like, I don't know why, but, like, every time that I've ever, like, heard of that, or, like, seen that, I'm always just, like,
what are we doing?
yeah, because it's always, like, they try to put, like, in, like, the UV temperature scale, like, where it's, like...
why?
Yeah, a photo would do fine, like...
what are we...
I wanted you to have this. Where am I supposed to put this?
All right, this leads me to another question I had.
Oh, great.
All right, so... I feel like this is sort of like a totally full question, so I can reword it. Do you think it's necessary for art to have thought put behind it?
Oh, in going to do the art. Thought and intentionality. Yes. Yeah, I think that, you know, if I'm running with, like, a paintbrush in, like, in an art store, by chance, in this weird hypothetical, and I trip and I just go, boop, you know, I think I might, like, hit a canvas and it's like, oh, that's an excellent paint stride on that canvas, but, like, that in itself would lead me to want to reiterate or, like, make that, like, a logo or a brand or something, like, something that is art, but it takes on a different form than when you're like, I did this.
Yeah.
You know, like, there has to be some kind of measure behind it. Even if it's like, I want a black canvas and I want to take white paint and I want to do something with that. Because then you could be like, oh, this is like the inverse of art.
Yeah.
Kind of cool. Like, or, oh, you know, the black is like the void and space and the white equals hope or light or something, like, to spring off that would, like, give someone that leading conversation, like, and that's where, you know, then we talk about picturesque things of, like, you know, that light, there's a light outside for audio and visual people. If I were to take a photo of that and then paint it, you know, people could look at that and be like, okay, well, that's obviously just something, like, what does that really represent? But then it's like, oh, you know, I like the fact that there's light from the sun going on, but we also have the light from an artificial source. Oh, you know, and there has to be something behind it that leads to thought. There's, like, expression, like, people, like, we could take it back to music. People make songs and they don't know that, like, their song, like, has the influence. They might not know that their song has the influence to, like, save someone's life, or if it's, like, you know, gangbanging rap, like, it's like, you don't know that, like, this song is gonna, like, push this 14-year-old to go, like, spin the block, you know. That's, like, I think that
make some King Von music.
Yeah.
Making some super villain demon music.
Dude, oh, real quick, I was out the other day getting dinner, and I was, like, in this really
situation scaring me.
No, it's funny. It's funny. I was in, like, this really like rich community with my buddy, because he was like, oh, they have, like, a really chill, like, little bar there, and we're there, and there's, like, these 13-year-old, like, white kids wearing what white kids wear when they're 13, Nike and shorts and hoodies and stuff, like, and they're on their bikes, and he's like, I'm on FaceTime with the ops gang. I was like, no.
I wish I could have been there for that.
Dude, I lost my mind. He's like, I'm about to ask my mom for $10K and cop a quad.
Was he wearing a shiesty?
No.
Please. Oh, I wish these white kids had shiesties. It would be hilarious.
You know they do. It's just probably, like, their mom probably took it away, like, the first instance they saw that. Like, Kevin, take that mask off.
What is that?
Take that baklava off. Mom, it's my shiesty.
Take that ski mask off right now.
Yeah. No ski mask in the building.
We're not going to Colorado till January.
We're not going to Aspen, sweetie. You can't wear that yet. Yeah, no.
it's too hot outside.
Yeah, it's too hot outside. How am I supposed to see your beautiful face me and your father created? Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, I think you hit it like pretty well. Where it's like I like to always have this quote of like just I'm a man of a lot of nuance.
Mm.
I think a lot. That's my thing. I'm a thinker.
Yeah.
But I like to have this quote of like, this is different from this. So like thought is different from feeling. And I feel like people want to put the two together.
Yes.
And being like, because I feel like nowadays everyone wants to run automatic and be like, I'm doing exactly what I feel. It's like, no, you need to think.
Mm.
Thinking and feeling are two different things.
That's true.
If they weren't, we wouldn't have two different words for them.
Yeah.
It's the clear point of like they're two different things.
Head and heart, yeah.
So I think that's what separates good art from just the sort of like, I think the one example of like abstract modern art is like the guy who goes on the trampoline up a wall with like the paintbrush. Have you seen that?
No.
Oh, he like runs. He has a paintbrush. It has like black paint on it, and he jumps up and then like just makes an arc, and then he lands, walks back around, and he just keeps doing it. And I look at it, and everyone's like, "This is dumb." And I feel like looking at it and being like, I feel like he tried to make something going off of the randomness of what it is, and that was the only thought. But that means with the randomness, there's no intentionality.
Yeah.
There's no thought behind this. You're just letting whatever happen and then trying to call it art.
Yeah.
It's like, I guess that's another question, like, at what point does something stop being art?
Dude, yeah, that's...
At what point is like, this isn't art anymore, this is just a thing. Before, I was of the mindset of like, all right, I can't really say something is or isn't art. I can say if it's good art or bad art.
Mm.
But I don't know, like there could be a line of where it's like, no, this is no longer art anymore.
Yeah.
It's like when we were at the museum and we were looking at like all the, like we were going through like the ancient Africa stuff, and you're just looking at stuff and it's like, this is tools.
Yeah. Like this is a history museum.
This was like basically a Egyptian trowel.
Yeah.
Like, and it's in an art museum, and like look at it, it's like, at what point did this just become art now? Like this is interesting, like it's cool to look at, I'm glad it's in here, but like this is by all means a tool.
Yeah, this is a design, but
meant
it's
to
historical.
be
artistic
or like beautiful looking. They just made it because
they needed it.
A purpose.
Yeah, it's like, what's really going on here?
Yeah.
I think we did a excellent job so far, like covering basically like how we felt, the different things from there. Like, I'm ready to move on to whatever's next. If you got another question or something like that, throw it my way. But yeah, all in all, I appreciate it. It was
I very much appreciate it.
I love seeing
a lot about art.
I love seeing it.
This is how you know I was in my
you were
college professor bag because I wrote my closing thoughts about what I thought of all this.
Get this guy a Nobel Prize.
So no. What I could be saying could just be total like bullshit. Like, I feel like this could be so profound, but
we have a podcast for that.
So seeing in history the tie between conflict and the ties between conflict and art started turning some things in my brain.
Okay.
And I think specifically also describing abstract art as a rebellion, and then during that time you have like the Bolshevik revolution, like not the Bolshevik, not the first one or the second one, because USSR was always a thing, but like the sort of communist revolution starting to happen like Eastern Europe and stuff, and the Cold War. Yeah. It's like, so you have rebellions and revolutions going on at the same time as this, and I think those tie in together.
Nice.
Interestingly. So I was like, in a weird way, I always think it's interesting to see what comes out of conflict. And so, like, there's so many challenges, changes, and rebellions in the form of art that come from, like, conflicts themselves, like what we were talking about. So, for me, it's interesting to see the conflicts that we're facing today and things that are going on, and what art and what is going to come out of that.
Yeah.
Like, how is the world going to change from that in an artistic way, and what's going to come out of it? Like, it makes me, I'm interested and excited to see, but also is like a little bit somber because I'm like, people have to go through that.
Yeah.
Like, in a way, it's like, what is Ukrainian art going to look like after this?
Yeah.
What's Palestinian art going to look like after this?
Yeah.
What's going to happen?
Yeah. That's always the posed question, you know, and I think there's a lot of great things out in life that kind of like demonstrate that, or like universal like principles and philosophy that will kind of always reinforce that sentiment of like, you know, sometimes, I mean, you can just look at like whatever like basic quotes are on like, you know, Facebook that like, you know, your grandparents are sharing, but it's like you really do have to burn like the farm sometimes for like the next season to crop. Like
Yeah.
there always has to be a period of life where, you know, like I like bust my hair off last year because I was like, I don't recognize myself, and
I've
then
done
now
that a
I'm
couple
like,
times.
yeah, it's just what happens in life. Like there's always a period of it, but I think that art and the research that you do, and then the abstract and the feelings and everything behind that, it's amazing how that also is a part of how the world is, how we as society are, how, you know, crops are, the world in general, and how art is that because we make that.
Yeah.
You know, AI can do that, but it's prompted, right?
Yeah.
Like it's
also feeding and stealing off of something else.
exactly.
Like, that's just the basis of it.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's that, and then it also opened my eyes up for one other thing. I think out of the 3 episodes that we've done so far, this being a third,
Mm-hmm.
I think this is the thing that has helped me build the biggest foundation for being appreciative of other things.
I loved it.
Because, I don't know, just, I'm a very history-minded person.
Yeah.
I've said that like 8 times. I'm going to stop saying it throughout this episode.
I need to get you a shirt that says that.
Yeah. No, I already have my dad's merch shirt that says History Matters on it.
Nice.
Yeah. It doesn't fit that well. That's why I don't ever wear it. but it so it's made me more appreciative in seeing that, like, oh, I think we live in like a day where everything moves so fast, but we just see trends all the time, and I want to think everything's dumb and stupid.
Yeah, I get that.
Like, I'll see a TikTok trend and I'll be like, this is stupid, I hate this, I don't want to look at this, people upset me, you know.
Yeah.
That, and then I'll go scroll and be like, yeah, show me Dragon Ball Sparking Zero videos. And I'll be like, yeah, show me that, that's the cool stuff.
Yeah.
But I think it's made me more appreciative of so maybe not necessarily more appreciative, but taking seriously and maybe more in earnest of trends and things that are going on now.
Mm.
Because I don't know whether or not it's going to be something that's part of history.
I agree. I think like art like is a great way for us to like really kind of just like look at it from a little bit back, no, it's like a little bit removed of a perspective, because it's like when you history person, a little bit more logical and like reason that comes with that, and then you come with a creative and not as like analytical from that. You find that medium, and when you find that medium, and then we take that as like literally the basis and the reason of why we're even doing this in general, and how we are going to apply that to everything from the future. You know, I find that it's also made me start getting excited about, oh, hey, you know, like this is what we're getting into next, or like, oh man, dude, what if we came up with these little ideas, or what if we like do this eventually? Because, you know, if we didn't have this, we would run out of things super fast, because it would be limited to like, okay, what we like, what we don't like, and what we don't know. But when you take like this concept, like we can get into things that are like super niche, but because of like our dynamic in the research, we can try and breathe some life into it, where there is like not a lot of like attention or understanding of what it is. Yeah.
But nah, it's just maybe I'm like, all right, I'm gonna be a little bit more aware of like what's happening. You know, I'm not just gonna be like, this is dumb, because I'm like, I don't know what's gonna actually be history.
Yeah.
I think it was also because I found out this documentary I want to watch. I found that there's this woman named Marion Stokes. She was a librarian, and I think for 30 years, she recorded every second of television for 30 years, 24 hours straight.
Dude.
And I think people would look at that and be like, that's psychotic, but I'm like, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
As like a history keeping thing.
Oh yeah.
Like there's a small little excerpt I saw where it's like, oh, they were running to like, they were like, oh yeah, we were at dinner as a family, it's like, and we have to run back home so we can go change the tapes. It's being digitized like her whole entire collection now.
Oh wow.
So it's like literally 30 years of TV. 30 years of all these things happening. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. It's made me just be like, oh, yeah, I'm living in it now. Like, maybe be more appreciative of it now. I'm like,
oh yeah.
Take it serious.
Exactly. That's what I'm feeling. That's what we're doing. You know, this is going to be a capsule. I mean, like, we've had moments already when you think about it that we'll know a lot more and be able to reflect back on. Okay, like, for example, let's get into this now. Like, all right, so we did the battle rap. We started before Kendrick and Drake beef.
Yep.
That was crazy. When we did the Isekai episode, we had a little, like, conversation at the very end, like, where we're talking about doing this and where we could go. And it got suggested maybe to go to Asheville. And I was like, I don't want to go to Asheville.
Oh, yeah.
My reasons for not wanting to go to Asheville simply
completely different before it got flooded.
Yeah, literally, like, probably like 3 days before, like, that was even like, hey, it's gonna rain.
Yeah, I don't think we even knew the name of Helene yet.
No, we didn't. I was not even aware of it until like it was about to hit. Then I'm like, oh, dude, that's crazy. Like I had X out there. That was why I was like, oh, I'm not going. So, you know, that was, we're already like kind of seeing things that, you know, in the relative.
We're seeing history happen already, and we're seeing it catch up to our active selves. Like, oh, I said that way.
Yeah, through our podcast, nonetheless. No. Like, it's literally like we have this out in the world now of like being like.
Recorded it.
Yeah, dude, we did all this stuff like before, like we knew it. And, like, we're gonna like look in the future one day and be like, oh man, I can't believe like we were using lav mics. Now we got like $4,000 mics. Because like things are just gonna
now I have 8 different guys to hold boom mics.
Yeah. Now we got sponsorship from DraftKings. We can get our Shonen Jump and Manga Plus for nothing.
Well, I mean, hey, I started sports gambling this weekend, so I started sports gambling last weekend. So like the DraftKings thing, I was like, hey hey DraftKings, come through. I use your app.
Yeah, we could start having like guests on that.
Yeah, gotta get some 3-leg parlays going on.
Yeah, dude, when you said, hey, just watch my parlay finna hit, like about the bet, dude, I was geeked reading that at class. But all right, yeah, before we move into like
picking the next topics.
Yeah, so what I was saying earlier, so like I got the beanie on right now, dude. When I went downtown, you know, I was chilling with my friend and stuff like that. We're like getting a beer, like waiting for time to pass because it was like pretty dead up until late last night. That bartender like walks up to me, had like a little brown beanie that I got from where we used to work. And she was like, has anyone ever told you that you look like Mac? And like the only person who ever told me that was my friend who was like with me at the time, right? Like, and I was like, yeah. And he looked at me, he's like, dude, I told you. He's like, you got to try and capitalize on this. So I'm like, all right, what can I say? And so I was like, asking like, oh, how should I take that? Is that a compliment, like good or bad?
Where's this compliment? Mac's cool.
Yeah, I know that, but like I was like, I had to lead my way into a conversation with the girl. Like I was like, I can't, like I don't know, like I just did not know at that moment like how to necessarily pull a bartender out of the weeds to like try and say something. But then as I like went through downtown and like I was talking to different people, or they would be like, hey, do you look like Mac? And I was like, the last place we ended up at. We ran into these groups of girls that took a group photo for them or whatever at a bar, and they're like, "Hey, you look like Mac," and I was like, "Hey." Like, what? We're gonna be good by the weekend.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
That was super corny, but I was like, I just gotta do it. No, they laughed at it too.
That was good timing.
That was a good time.
That's good.
Anything
good.
Yeah.
Dude, low-key good. Okay. That's on Good AM, right?
What?
Everything good by the way? Yeah, Weekend's on Good AM.
Yeah.
Good AM is my favorite album.
Yeah.
I love that album.
That's such a good one. Yeah, that was like a pivotal time because I remember like when I was in Charlotte, like every weekend, like we would just play that and like hit a party up or something like that. Charlotte is just such a good, like, especially that campus, walking around listening to Good AM. Can you imagine like going all the up and down the hills and everything like that?
Having to go like up the hill to all the way to like the football stadium.
Oh, bro. Yeah. At least like when you lived in, well, I lived in Witherspoon, so the football stadium like wasn't too far. But if you were like in Levine and everything, like yeah. Holzhauser was a hike for literally everything.
Oh yeah.
More of our lore, but are you screen recording?
I'm about to.
All right.
You ready?
Yeah.
You spinning?
Ready. Yeah.
What are we betting on? We're gonna change up the format a little bit, and because we love deep diving one, but like we realize we get antsy with just one topic, and then we get a little bit busy. So we're gonna try to be cooking a little bit more, working a little bit, 3 different pots, 3 different pans.
Yes.
Change the heat on the burner. So we're gonna pick topics for the next 3 episodes, or if our research gets really short, we'll combine them into one massive one or 2.
Oh yeah.
Who knows how this will go, but we're going to pick more than one. So, 3-leg parlay.
3-leg parlay.
3-leg parlay. If 2 of them hit, I'll give you another dime.
The dime is just like our branding right here.
Exactly. If 2 of them hit, I'm giving you another dime.
All right. I'm going to go. That's crazy. All right. Let's. Wait, are you screen?
I can pull it out. I'll read off the list.
Okay.
And then I'll screen record real quick.
All right, yeah.
So we have Opium Fashion.
Mm-hmm.
Still got the Victorian era media. Tubi movies.
Yeah.
Country music.
Uh-huh.
TikTok.
Uh-huh.
Joker. Which would be both movies. Hello Kitty.
Tough. Yeah.
Got golf.
Yeah.
Got Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Jujutsu, but this is the ending of Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah.
We got shoujo manga and anime.
Oh, yeah.
We got Brat Autumn. We got Gotcha games. Classical music.
Okay.
EDM.
Yeah.
AI.
Uh-huh.
Current Kanye.
Uh-huh.
Pro wrestling.
Yep.
Reality TV.
Mm-hmm.
Drake. Fishing. Teen Titans Go. Beer trolleys.
Beer trolleys. Oh, dude, I really
Reddit.
love that. Oh, jeez. All right.
Thrifting.
Uh-huh.
Board games. Mecha anime. Slice of life. High fashion. Comics. Hockey.
Mm-hmm.
I put the quirkiness of Dragon Ball.
And
then the newest edition. The political compass. All of it.
All right.
All of it.
I'm gonna write down our ones so like we know what is up. So I'm gonna go Tubi movies, Hello Kitty, just because I think that would be hilarious.
All right.
And I got one more. Let's go. No, I'll go EDM.
Okay. I'm gonna take mecha anime,
Great.
Joker movies, Tubi movies.
All right,
Actually,
so
take out mecha, put Broadham. Just put it's Brat.
Yeah, Brat, Joker, and Tubi.
Yep.
All right, so we're both pulling for Tubi.
I really want Tubi movies.
Dude, we really want Tubi movies so bad.
All right.
Oh, is it? You recording?
I am now.
Sweet.
I should be. Oh, boy, you better work. There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Dog, why is he like this?
That's just the editor in me.
Oh. Board games is the first winner.
All right.
All right.
All right. Hey, oh, dude, we could have like a game night or something.
Dude, I got some board games. We'll have a game. We can film a game night.
Dude, yeah, we need to get some contestants.
All right. Spin it again. Oh, come on! No. TikTok.
Oh, we gotta start posting too.
Oh. It was so close to Tubi movies,
Yeah.
and then it just didn't stop, and it made me mad.
I saw it on country music too. I was like, oh no.
All right, third one.
Beer trolleys. I should have put that down. I want it.
Classical music.
Dude, what is this episode?
Oh, this is gonna be funny.
Yeah, I don't honestly think that we could put these in 3 separate. If we did, it would be tough. I think if we do
The variety show.
if we do board games, I think we should do a vlog on that, or just like filming us doing it, but also mention it in like an episode. TikTok, we can talk about different trends, maybe, or
I think we'll just deep dive the app. You know, we'll see what's got going on.
yeah.
We'll try to see if we can enjoy these trends and stuff.
Classical music, we should try and go to like a symphony or something if they got it.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Well,
that's
my parlay did not hit at all.
I did not either.
I thought Joker movie was gonna hit because the newest one just came out and it's really bad.
Yeah, you know what, bro? I'm just glad that we can like knock off certain extra topics, because like there's a lot on there that like I am super excited for, even though I don't like have any like Hello Kitty. Like I have like no experience with that, but like I'm
gonna have to phone a friend for that.
Phone a friend. I'm looking forward to that,
But
yeah.
Again, for y'all, do we have the form? Post
Yes.
the form at the bottom. So
yeah, forum. I'm going to include it in the link. We're going to include it in the link in the description. We're also going to be having that just on our main pages and stuff.
Suggest us topics, more things to appreciate.
Yes.
You know, we want y'all involved too. See something that you really want to see the boys try their hardest to appreciate.
Yes. Yeah. Try and find some appreciation with that. I'm gonna include a clip from our vlog, which will be coming out, let's say a day after this.
Yeah.
Just keep it flooded. But yeah, I'm Zach.
I'm Lew.
This is the Appreciation Podcast, and this is the outro.
Peace.
Peace. Dude, what? I just noticed we're still recording. All right, well, peace.